Hi, everybody. Guess what? It's that time of the day again. It is Welcome John Kicking and Punching with Sifu Al de Cascos. So again, everybody give you a big round of applause for Sifu Al de Cascos.
Hey, thank you guys. Hey, a lot of things we want to talk about, and I want to bring on a really good and compassionate director, especially when you come into the martial arts. And if you're in anywhere in front of his kicks and punches, then you get a good hand experience on to learn how to do stunts. He's been around with us for the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 decades, which makes it 30, 40 years, and is really well known. Let me just give you a little bit of background about him. Art Camacho is considered one of the most accomplished directors, fight choreographers, and stuntmen in independent martial arts films. Dubbed the Fight Master by Inside Kung Fu magazine, he directed works including Wild League, Assassin X, I guess Recoil, Confession of a Point Fighter, The Power Within, Little Bigfoot. You know what? I'm going to let him talk about it because there's so much to do. But anyway, Art has received numerous awards for film directing, including from Alan Horn, which is from Disney Studios CAO, and Michael Klausman, CBS, and has been featured in several international magazines, including Black Belt, Inside Kung Fu, Karate Illustrated, and wow, he's almost catching up to me.
I want to meet him.
Okay. This is considered to be LA's largest Spanish language magazine, La Opinion, I don't know how to pronounce it right, dubbed as one of Latin Hollywood's action film direct. He is the host and director of Camacho Experience, which we're going to get more detail into that. And on that's really on El Rey Network, and is a member of the board of the Martial Arts History Museum. You know what? I mean, if I were to talk about all his credentials will go from one end of my hand all the way to the other end, which would probably be taller than me. Maybe taller than him anyway. But anyway, listen, let's go ahead and have fun with him. Welcome to the show, Art Camacho, and thank you for being with us. Okay, thank you. Okay, Art, I always want to say this, most of the time that when people see you, or when I see you, you are hiding behind a dark glass. How's about just peeping it down once and just let us see what you look like?
One. It's only between you and I. Nobody else should see this.
All right, that's fantastic. All right.
You're in the tape. You're in the tape after this.
You're right. I asked you, there's so many ways we could start, but we're going to start with a couple of questions because a lot of people ask, Art Camacho, we hear about him in the movies and we see him as Art, as a director. And I guess one of the questions comes up is how and why did he get started in directing? What led him into being what he is? So,
well, first off, to address the glasses, I am blind as a bat. I am so nearsighted. So these are prescription glasses. And the funny thing is, and I'll tell you a quick story, is that I was teaching one day out there. I had a class in Hollywood, and one day my clear glasses broke. And since I can't see, so I had to wear glasses. So once I started wearing them, they really felt good on my eyes, and that's how it happened. It wasn't like intentional. It was like I had no choice at the time because I couldn't afford 2 pairs of clear glasses, so I only had one. So it took them like 2 weeks to make another pair. But that's how this came about. So prescription glasses, not because I'm cool, because I can't see.
Really? Wow.
But secondly,
well, yeah, you are cool in the first place anyway.
Thank you.
So that's getting into that. Getting into that. Go ahead.
You talk about just in life in general. I got to tell you, I grew up, and as a matter of fact, I have a book out, a biography out. But I grew up in the barrio over here, and you know what? Everybody does. I mean, you've had everybody has gone through everything that I've gone through. When I tell you my story about getting beat up, bullied, the whole 9 yards, I don't say it like, oh, pity me. I say it, so what? That made me what I am today. Thank God, to be honest with you, it sounds kind of weird, but thank God I got beat up. Thank God I got bullied. because that drove me. And this is all leading to your question, because I started martial arts training when I was about 15, 16, because I did get beat up. 5 guys beat me up. I have 11 stitches here, stitches here. I mean, I got beat up so bad. And for like 3 weeks, I was afraid to leave my house. I was so afraid. Then slowly that fear started turning into anger, bubbling up into anger. And so I started training in martial arts. But I, again, fat kid, no talent, no nothing. I basically started from scratch. I started Japanese karate, dropped out. Taekwondo, dropped out. Kept trying different things, but nothing stuck, because I just it wasn't in me yet. And it wasn't until later in my late teens that I met my Sifu Eric Lee. And that was an epiphany. That was one of the life-changing experiences, along with obviously discovering Bruce Lee through films. But those two events, discovering Bruce Lee and discovering, your system, Sifu One Out Kwendo, changed my whole life. That led to where I am today. Because at first I started training because I'd never seen anybody in real life as dynamic as Eric Lee when he's performing his katas in his heyday. And then on film, Bruce Lee was the ultimate. I mean, after I saw my first Bruce Lee film, every weekend I was buying Bruce Lee posters, pictures, anything I could get my hands on, because I was so blown away by Bruce Lee. And slowly, that's what led me to films, because out of the blue, there was a period of time where I disconnected with Sifu Eric Lee. He was traveling, I was doing different things. Then one day, we happened to run into each other on the movie set, Steel Justice. I was hired as an extra. He was a stuntman, and he saw me. He goes, "All right, what are you doing over there?" I go, "Well, I'm just an extra, Sifu." He goes, "Oh, get over here." So he brought me over with the stunt guys. So I started hanging out with the stunt guys, and that changed my whole life, because then shortly thereafter, he started doing choreography for Down the Dragon Wilson. And they called me up out of the blue one day. "Hey, Art, you want to get your butt kicked for $50? I thought, I'm there. I am there. That's what started it, man. I got my butt kicked, and this time they paid me. Go figure.
Right.
And I was really, to be honest with you, I was really good at it. And I started, doing it more and more. He started getting a lot of work. I started getting, I was kind of helping him out, and little by little, I got into SAG, started doing a lot of stunts, but I had such an eye at the time. Again, this is from the producers, not from me, not me talking, but I had a real good eye. So they started asking me to, "Hey, you know what? The director has to move on to the next scene, so why don't you direct this scene right here?" So that's how it started. I mean, they started just putting the responsibility on me they give me an hour, 2 hours, half hour to shoot the scene that I had just choreographed. And the first ones, I messed up pretty bad. Got to be honest with you, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But little by little, I started studying, started watching films, and really, really doing my homework. So I got really good at it. I mean, it got to a point where I was literally tasked with putting together fights in like 10 minutes and shooting them in 5 minutes. So you have to know what you're doing. And again, if it wasn't for the foundation of One Up Kwendo and Sifu Eric Lee, and of course you, Sifu Aldecascos, all this wouldn't have been possible. I'll be straight up with you. I'm being totally honest. That really changed my whole life. And then I really started progressing. And that's when I started getting, I choreographed probably about maybe 50 movies. But at the time, I'd choreographed like 30 films. And in 1 year, 2 producers asked me, they asked me if I wanted to direct movies. I really, I didn't know whether they were serious, blowing smoke up my butt or whatever. But
Who asked you? Who asked you?
Joseph Murphy at PM Entertainment. And another friend of mine, I forgot the company's name, but they asked me if I wanted to direct, because I tell you, I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you. I really did. I thought nobody's going to come up to fucking Art Camacho and ask him to direct a film. But what happened prior to that we were doing one movie, and he wanted me to get extras for him. Like, it was like a Karate Kid scene with a lot of tournament people. So we go in movies, see, well, they call it a tech scout. You know that, when you go and check out the technical things, locations, stuff. So in the morning, we went on the scout trying to check out locations, and Joseph came to me and said, "Hey, Art, you know what? I'm doing this karate scene. Do you think you can get me like 30 guys, to be like in the audience and stuff like that and fighting?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I can make 2 calls. I know a lot of friends." By the end of the day, 30 turned into 400. He asked me, he was like, 400 people. I was like, oh my God. In my mind, I'm thinking, how am I going to do it? But I didn't say no. I said, yeah, I'll do it. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was going to do it. They had no money, no budget. So then he told me, he says, "Art, you give me these people, I'll give you a bonus." And I go, no, Joseph, you asked me as a favor to you. I'm going to do it as a favor. I'm not going to change the terms. I'm going to get you your people. I didn't know what to do. So I started really thinking. And so basically, I literally started calling schools. "Hey, this is Art Camacho. We're doing this." And I came up with some ideas that we'll give the students, we'll give them $5 towards a birthday party at their school or whatever. and the instructors will give them $50. They come down and represent the schools. And then I called Atomics. They're really good people. Mitch, who owns Atomics, you know, the clothes and shoes. I said, Mitch, I need some product that I can give away and raffle off to these kids. And he gave me a bunch of stuff, boxes of new shoes and clothes and shirts. So in my mind, I created this whole promotion, birthday parties, you know, raffles, and I made it like a big party scene. And so, make a long story short, is that the assistant director, who was a friend of mine, says, Art, the producer director is not going to know how to use these people. You're only giving them $5 a day. He's probably gonna have their 16 hours if you don't help. So I thought, oh my God. So I came up, I drew X's and O's and X's and O's and camera moves, and X's were this body and these were karate, these were kung fu. Came up with some crazy idea, you know? I presented it to him that morning. I said, Joseph, I don't know what you have in mind, but here's an idea. And he looked at it. He looks at 4 or 5 pages of these things. I haven't done nothing in my life. I haven't done anything. I don't know what I'm doing, but I had an idea. He looked at it and he started laughing, and he put it down. And the Mexican in me got pissed. I thought he's making fun of me. I said, I worked my butt off and you're making fun of me? Okay. I smiled, said, thank you, walked out of the room. 2 hours later, he comes up to me, says, Art, have you ever thought about directing? I go, yeah. I was pissed. I got to see for a while. I just did not want to talk to the guy. I thought he was making fun of me. And he goes, you know what? Call me. I'm going to have you direct a film for me. I said, yeah, okay, cool. Just like that. I thought, you know, screw you. Don't, you know, come on, adding salt to the open wound. A week later, I get a call from the secretary. Mr. Camacho, your appointment for next Wednesday is ready. You know, we want to make sure you can make it. It's, I think, 10 or 11. Appointment for what? Well, you know, the film you're going to direct for us. I said, what? I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it, Sequel. And that's how I got my first directing gig. That's exactly. I could not believe it. And to just a little side note, that film, they had given us $700,000 budget. We shot it for $50,000 under budget, and I think they grossed close to $2 million on the film.
Wow.
So it wasn't my pretty blue eyes, but I made the money. So then right afterwards, they gave me another film, and that's how I started, me making people money with directing.
Great. The last one I think you did was a film. I saw. It's seems as though it was a Russian-made film,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Tell me about that. How did it come about? It was a
crazy story. See, well, I met this really actor producer named Alexander NEVSKY. Great guy. We had met. He loved my work. He was a big fan of the 90s films. And he had said, Art, I want to do a film with you in the Philippines, an action film. I said, fantastic. A month goes by, I don't hear from him. Then he calls me up. He says, oh, Art, you know, that film fell through. You know, that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. You can't count on anything till you're on the set. But he said, look, but I have another film that I'm producing. It's not an action film. It's a historical piece. It's about soccer, and it's a love story. I said, okay, show me the script. I read the script. It was very hard to read because it was translated from Russian, but it was a beautiful story, Sequel. Beautiful, beautiful story. And I'm thinking to myself, are you sure they got the right one you want to direct this? It's a beautiful, not that I can't direct, but it was historical. It wasn't action driven. It had a couple action scenes in it, but it was a love story wrapped around the introduction of soccer historically from the British to Russia. And next thing you know, he says, Art, next week, the main producer coming down from Russia, come down. I told him about you because they wanted to give it an international feel. That's why they wanted to hire an American director. And so I met with him. And it's so funny because all he was talking about, because he knows I'm an action guy, he goes, you know what, can we do action and action? Get back. I said, yeah, but you got a brilliant story, a beautiful story here. You got a real movie. I mean, I could feel action left and right. I could do that in my sleep. Sure. But I mean, to tell a good story and a love story at that. And that's what I kept stressing. I kept stressing to him. He saw the big picture as, you know, soccer fights. I saw the big picture as a love story about these two people that are going through this journey while all this is happening in the world. And literally that's how it came about. And to date, it is my favorite film. It is really a powerful movie, very powerful movie. Unfortunately, it has too much of a Eastern European feel to it. That's why it hasn't been, you know, here yet released. But they're working on that right now. But it's an amazing film. I was so excited and blessed and honored to do that film. It was in Russian.
Where was it shot in?
in Moscow, Russia.
Oh, you went to Moscow.
I went to Moscow, yeah. And
Was the first time you've been to Russia?
yes, yes, it was amazing. Because my biggest compliment to them was like, you guys remind me of a bunch of damn Mexicans, man. They were so down to earth, man. I was expecting, everybody to wear gray and this. I'm serious, stupid me. But I get there, they're more American than we are,
No
It was
kidding.
beautiful. The funny thing was that they were big fans of all those films I used to do. That's why they knew of my work. Because in those days, in the 90s, when Soviet Union dissolved, crime was rampant, bootleg. So they used to, literally, you could have one VHS at the time with Don Wilson, Van Damme, Steven Seagal, all in one tape. So they didn't have A or B films. They thought everybody was the same. And so they were big fans of this. And coming into this experience, one of the best crews I've ever worked with. They were so excited every day to work with me as I was with them. It was such a beautiful, beautiful thing.
How long was the shoot?
It ended up like 30 or 40 days. I think 35, 36 days, yeah. At one point, we had 4 days where I had over 150 extras, all in period costumes, because it was set in 1910. So I had horses, carriages. I swear to you, I'd go to the set and you cannot tell. The makeup people and wardrobe people were so brilliant. I thought, damn, when I saw the people there, I didn't know that wasn't their real wardrobe. Because I thought maybe some of these Russians are still peasants. I don't know.
Right.
But and then makeup was always late, and I was getting so very frustrated. Till one day I'm on the set talking to the DP about a shot, and I turn over and I look at an extra, and then I look at him closer, and I realized that the beards and the mustache, they were all meticulously put onto every extra. 150 people. It's like, holy moly. No wonder they're late, because there's two ladies having to make up all these people,
When was it shot? Last year?
This was 2019.
2019.
Yeah, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
So the pandemic really kind of put it backwards, huh?
Yeah. But the pandemic is maybe, excuse my language, but chicken shit as it sounds, it was good to me, business-wise.
So, so you consider that to be one of your best projects, right?
Yes.
And when it goes back to martial arts and stunt work, which was one of your best? I know they're all good. But you gotta have one favorite.
You know what? Believe it or not, I have a couple of favorite in terms of the martial arts as a director. One is my first one, called The Power Within. And the reason being because number one, it still holds a special place in my heart. But the story, we spent like 6 months coming up with my first story for Joseph Murray for PM Entertainment, something that had to have action, but yet tell a good story. And The Power Within was just that. It was a little bit of a fantasy film, but in it, I infused a lot of my own personal philosophy on martial arts. For instance, the last scene in the film, the writer had put that the good guy wins the bad guy in the big fight, and he beats the shit out of him because he gets some power. I said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that, because that's not what martial arts is about. If I get the upper hand on you, I'm not just going to start pounding you in real life. My thing is, you know what? I changed that whole thing, basically. Made him show more honor and more nobility, as opposed to just beating the crap out of people. And I took it to a point where we all go through life, just like anybody in films or whatever, is that once you reach a certain peak of success, sometimes we get kind of lost in that success. And then finally, God has a way of humbling us, brings us down, and we find a happy medium in life. And those were the themes that I wanted in the movie, apart from the martial arts. The martial arts was great. We did things in those days, because as you know from these small films, you don't have that much time, because you worked on that.
Right.
You worked with Alexander, right, on that film,
Right.
I don't know how your situation was, but in a lot of films that I do, we don't have too much time to rehearse, to plan. I've done a couple of bigger ones where we have weeks, but here, sometimes you got to put stuff together on the fly and make it look. But The Power Within, and then another one that's close to my heart is called Confessions of a Pit Fighter. And it's basically a story about this kid from East LA who gets involved in these underground fights. And that was kind of fun. That was really, really fun. Really fun film. Again, infusing a lot of my own growing up experience into the characters. And one thing that I always try to do, I don't always succeed, but I always try to infuse redemption in my movies, because I think at the end of the day, in my previous life, I still got to make up for something, because I'm always trying to find redemption in my life, and I do it through my film.
Tell me about the Camacho experience. You've got it's on sort of like a television series or some kind of stuff.
Yeah. Here's what I was saying. How crazy is life? I've been in the industry since about 1990, 91. And you reach highs and lows. You reach highs and lows. But the way God has been in my life, I keep reaching different peaks. Right when I think, okay, this is the best it's going to get, a new challenge comes in and strengthens me. The Russian film, for instance. Here I am at this point in my life and career doing all these action films, and here they have me do a love story in Russia, in Russian language. How cool is that? The year next, I get a call during COVID because a lot of shows were canceled. A lot of shows were stopped producing because, they didn't want people to make contact. And I got a call from LRA Network saying, hey, we want to do kind of a martial arts talk show that'll involve the museum and martial art icons. And they gave me a list of people that they wanted. And I said, because they asked me, how are you going to deal with COVID? I said, well, all truthfully, I'm not good at podcast. I've never done a podcast kind of thing. I could probably do a talk show, but it has to be Camacho style. They go, what do you mean? It has to have action. It has to have action. I can't just have people sitting and talking. They go, great, done deal. So they basically gave me 6 episodes to do. And the interesting thing was that I did the pitch and everything else, but I really didn't think they were going to take the pitch. So I didn't think it through. All of a sudden they did the pitch and said, well, it's going to do the show. Then I had to design, what the hell am I going to do? I had no idea what I was doing. So literally, me and Michael Matsuda got together and we started really designing questions, designing the show. And then to the very last minute, I thought, you know what? It's got to start with a bang. We got to start something with a bang. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. The opening of the show, every episode, I'm going to have different guys trying to beat the crap out of me. He goes, what do you mean beat the crap out of you? Yeah. I'm going to say, hey, I'm Art Camacho. Welcome to the Camacho Experiment. Boom, guy comes on here, sticks, fight, you name it, as I'm trying to talk to the camera. And that worked out great because a couple of times I got nicked. It's like, but it was fun. It was really fun. And then what I did, I called some friends of mine from a group called Los Lonely Boys. They're a Grammy Award-winning Latin rock kind of group because they had a song called Rule the World. Rule the World is such an inspirational song. I hope you listen to it one day because that's how I feel. Not in the sense that, I want to conquer everybody. No. By rule the world, I want to rule myself. I want to control my destiny as much as we can. And that song is so uplifting. So we got the licensing rights to use it for our title sequence. And then our title sequence was a combination of videos from my films, cars exploding, fights, you name it, and the show. Because one thing that I want to do, the Camacho Experiment, is not just talking, learning about these icons, but it's also, I throw a lot of behind the scenes in there so people actually see the process. They see us shooting the fights, they see us shooting the interviews. Then each segment has to have a teaching segment. So there's a Graciela Casillas, a friend of mine. She was the first kickboxing champion and a Kali knife master. So I said, Graciela, we start off, as a matter of fact, that little sequence with us doing a stick drill. We're fighting with sticks. Next thing you know, I'm talking to her and telling me, I approached it, Sifuel, like a schmo, like somebody who doesn't know anything about martial arts. So I said, what do you call these things? Okay, they're called Kali or Screamer. How do you hold it? I want somebody out there who's never been in martial arts to learn something from the show. And so then she started showing me knife techniques and really sticking me. It's like, it was great, So that's what the Camacho experience is, martial arts in its totality, from a combat sense. Like even with Don Wilson, I got in the ring with Don and he's showing me, I said, Don, what was your biggest thing? He says, defense. He told me there was 2 or 3 fights in his career. Again, he's had a lot of illustrious career where the opponent's glove never touched his face. Complete fights where you can. So he showed me defense. Ben Urquidez showed me that one spin jump kick that he has. And Cynthia Rothrock showed me the broadswords, the Chinese hook swords.
Right.
We had fun. It was fun. It was an amazing experience, and they loved it. That's why we were recently. We'll know soon enough that we were up for Emmy nomination, which is kind of cool,
It's the most dangerous hour on television. Step into the octagon for the Camacho Experiment.
What would it be like to sit down with your favorite martial arts heroes and work with them one-on-one? Wow!
Hosted by Fight Master and legendary action film director, Art Camacho.
How do I do it? You'll have to watch and see.
The Camacho Experiment.
What else are you going to teach me?
I like playing with knives.
How many shows you folks done so far on that?
We did 6 for the first season, and if they come back, they want us to do another set. Oh, that's my book. Craziness, huh? Crazy.
Well, yeah, okay, we're jumping right now into it. Tell me about this book.
See, well, I for 2 or 3 years, different people who were, independent publishers had approached me because they said, you know what, Art, you're from the barrio, you're this fat, and I was, extremely fat, ugly. I'm still ugly, but not as fat, okay? But you're this kid from the barrio, you're no talented, you have nothing. All of a sudden, here you're reaching the pinnacle of martial arts action. We want to do a book, we want to do some kind of biography. Just tell people, how the hell this kid from the barrio, how do you connect the dots? And I said, no way, no how. I said, I lead a realistically boring life. Anybody can do what I can do, what I've done. What I've done is no big deal. I'm just the only thing I am is tenacious. You kick my butt, Sifuel, I'll go down, I'll cry, wipe the boogers off my face and get back up. And that's the only thing that I can say that I have, against most people. But finally, Michael Matsuda, he kind of tricked me. He did an interview for a podcast like we're doing now. 3 days later, he has it transcribed and he says, here's your book. I go, what are you talking about? He says, Art, I'm going to do a book about you with or without you. I said, excuse my language, I use a lot of expletives. I said, you're effing this, you're effing that, you're no effing way. He goes, yes, Art, either here it is. You can add to it, you can clean it up, but I'm just going to publish it because I got a lot of pictures offline that I can do. I'm going to do it. So I finally agreed to, so him and I collaborated. I kind of cleaned up the language and gave him extra material. But then what made it worse, is that he told me Dragon Fest is a big, like, martial arts Comic-Con. He says, okay, we are going to introduce your book at Dragon Fest. I said, no effing way, no way. He shows me this big ass poster with my ugly face on it. And I'm thinking, Michael, please don't do this to me. I'm not gonna sit in a booth watching my ugly face right there on a big poster while people walk by. I swear to God, I was so self-conscious. That night I didn't sleep. I go there and he sets up the books, he sets up the, my little booth and everything. I said, okay, Michael, here's the deal. I'll do it under one condition. The minute I sell one book, that's all. Then I already sold the book. I'm getting the hell out of there. I'm not going to sit there and make a fool of myself. We sold, like 150 books that one day at Dragon. I was just shocked. Because the book, here's the thing, Sifuel, is that I can't go into it a lot because we don't have the time, but I've had so many failures in my life, in my relationships, in my businesses, getting beat up, getting bullied. I've had so much. But having said that, I am so happy for every one of them. Every one of them. The girls who turned me down, the guys who bullied me, the guys who leave me with the scars. Every day I wake up and see those scars. And I thank them. I want to beat the shit out of them, but I thank them. Because that made me what I am. Because that's the message of Art Camacho, is that, life's going to kick your butt. But so what? So what? Come on. You make it what you want to, Generally, I think we can. You're a proof of that, Sifuel. You're such a great inspiration to me and to a lot of people around the world.
Yeah. Well, failures, we all go through failures, and God gives us only what we can handle, the amount what we can handle. And yeah, every failures that you've had or I've had, or people that have had, what it is, having the attitude of never giving up. Stand up, come up, fight more. Matter of fact, I think maybe you got the same kind of blood I got. It's just that if you hit me, you better freaking hit me hard, because when I come up, I'm going to hit you 10 times harder. That kind of attitude, because it's like every failure or every hit is like a spike of adrenaline. Get up. What the hell you doing out there? And that's the kind of subject you and I can talk about. We can get so freaking emotional about it, because it's like, what the hell you think you're doing? I mean, failure, screw you. Failure is not going to do it. And then you get up, and it was always, I felt the same thing like you. I mean, there were times when, they would put me in front of it, especially during the time that when I was fighting, now you got to go in and fight this guy. I said, oh man, shit. I fought him before and he beat me, but that time it's not going to happen. So it keeps on going. One thing about it, what it is that people recognize a lot of our success, but they don't even know the failures that you go through. And I know that when I look at the films and I see you doing this and that, and I'm thinking, it's not all gravy, you know. It's not all gravy, because he had worked his ass off to get there, and now it is shining. It is manifesting into something. It's like, even during your darkest days, it's the only time that you're going to see the bright stars anyway. And the star in you is coming out, you see? And when I see that, I say, you know what? People may not have appreciated him then, but I tell you, it's just that the wisdom and experience and the age you come up with, you know what? That's an icon. That's an icon. You're going to be standing way ahead of guys that are looking and say, and what has happened is just that I would say that there is life after black belt. It is not that when you get your black belt, it goes into the closet. You've taken your martial arts and have made it your career, and it has opened up a lot of things. So when you take a look at the film, the stunt work, your books, your performance, your seminars, it's totally incredible. It's like, I don't think it's like you would say that being in the right place at the right time. That's partly true, but I also see you opened the doors and you made the doors. You didn't just wait for it to come open. So, hooray for you. I mean, that's incredible. So they say that opportunities, knock only once. Well, the hell, you say the hell with it. I'm going to make my own opportunities, and I saw it, and it's incredible. And that alone is so inspirational, So, there's so much we could go into. If you would have say, like, go ahead. What is it?
You touched on it right there, because see, at the end of the day, I swear to God, and this is what, it's my pet peeve on social media, that these people go out there and they pity me. Oh, look at me, I got this and that. You know what? I got every day, see, well, I have to struggle. Every day I get up, I have to train. I have to, even right now, this morning, I had to do a lot of calls. Then I had to rush to the gym, work out an hour and a half, come back, shower, because it's my job. It's my, I guess it sounds corny, but it's my calling to do what I'm doing, because I'm living my passion. And, but here's the thing, not most people, not everybody is willing to put in the work. This is in my mind. I eat, sleep, and breathe this. See, well, I just finished a film right now where I was doing a stunt, coordinating a stunt for this girl. She falls down, she's being dragged. I hadn't done that kind of gag in years. So like for 2 or 3 days before, I was mulling it over, practicing and working. When I walk on the set, it's like, okay, boom, do this, do that, just grab her. And people are looking like, holy shit, this guy's a genius. He just came up with this stuff right here. They don't know I spent 3 days, planning. I just make it look easy. It isn't easy. It's hard. When I direct a film, see, well, even now, I get so scared. I get butterflies. I get nervous. But by the time I'm on the set, it's our Camacho. Like, hey, come on, just do this, put the camera here, let's do this, talk to the actors. But inside, it's like, people don't see that,
That's anticipation. That's, what did I see this? I says, anticipation of death is greater than death itself, which means that the anticipation of doing something is, it's you freaking out, man. But the minute you're on stage where the pressure is there, the pressure is not there, because you just perform like, hey, so what? This is every day with me. And, that is a sign of a real good performer, because if I say that if a performer go out there and he's never had butterflies, he's actually lying to himself, or maybe he's on some kind of choke or whatever that, he's not even in this world. But, when you're self-conscious about everything, even the greatest people, and that because sometimes I read biographies on some of the actors and everything, they all get butterflies, they all puke. Just like what did I read about Mike Tyson? Before he even go out to a fight, he's already throwing up before he even gets in there. So we all go through that. But you're incredible. You're incredible, because, I've seen you grow. I've seen the things that you've done, and it's like, one of the things I think about is what would have happened if I would have been in Southern California and working with you folks, you know?
Oh my God. Oh my
You know,
God. I mean, you just look at you. I mean, oh my God.
yeah, but then I start thinking too, um, there's sacrifices in life, you know, and I think, I love where I'm at in Hawaii, and if things come my way, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But for people to say and stray, they say, would you go to Los Angeles, you know? And I would say, not right now. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I think where I'm at is just God blessed me here.
Yeah.
And frankly, I've had a lot of people that come from LA or other places wanting to prepare for stunt work. So they come study with me and I send them out. So
Yeah.
I don't have to go anywhere. I'm doing what I love to do and everything. But one day I'd like to be up there and just, Art, we're going to do something together.
It's on my bucket list. You and I are going to team up and do something so amazing, Wow, so amazing. And,
Well,
and again, I think at the end of the day, like I was telling you, most people out there, there's two things that I see that are pet peeves of mine. One is that they don't want it bad enough. They think, okay, I want this, but you know what, that's too hard. Or they get a little failure. You know what, I'll stay in my safe zone. And two, here's the most important critical thing, Well, they both as martial artists or actors, when I studied martial arts, to be honest with you, when I first started, I just wanted to beat the shit out of people because they beat the shit out of me. But then I started understanding, and I found the right teachers with Sifu Lee and your system. But most people, not most, a lot of people as actors, they go out there, and I see this, especially now in this age of social media, they want to be celebrities. They want to be stars. They don't want to be actors. They want to be a black belt. They don't want to be a martial artist. I never pushed for a promotion. I never pushed for anything because I just wanted to be a good martial artist. Whether I was a white belt, blue belt, black, it doesn't matter. A good martial artist, not to have the belt and call me, call me GM, call me this, call me that. No. I mean, that's a title that's earned, not to where, I'm always Art Camacho. People call me what they want to call me, but a lot of people go out there, they want to be, this grandmaster, or in acting, they want to be a celebrity. They want to be a star. Look at me. But no, I'd rather work on my craft. I want to be great at what I do, and then everything is a byproduct of that.
It's whenever you get good at what you do, you don't even have to worry about the stardom or the money or anything else that way, because people will recognize you for your work and they will come to you instead of you going to them. Yeah. And that I see because you've concentrated so much in being who you are, making yourself, that good martial artist, that good director, stunt personality and everything. People are going to you, they coming to you, say, man, I gotta have Art Camacho. So your name become international. It's not like you going around and just slapping resumes and biographies on of producers and things that way. You've already got that, it's already established. And with your book that's here, and then with your Art Camacho experience, that's already walking into a gunfight with right hand and left hand guns. You're not coming with just one pistol. You're coming inside, bam, 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 blazing. And it's
in my case, it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're just shooting it out. And I see more great things coming. I don't think, it's, God willing, that, I don't think that you're going to ever be stopping. I think you're going to be working all the way to your grave.
That's my goal. That's my goal. I see a lot of friends who have jobs and they're counting the years till they retire, and I tell them, when I'm 6 feet under or my ashes are in a bin, that's when I retire. I'm having too much fun.
I see some photos of that you're doing. That I'm kind of curious about that, because I don't know whether it's got to be a period film. One in a cowboy fighting scene.
I just did this film in Arizona called Assault on Rio Bravo. It was my first Western. I did all the action. I didn't direct it, but I directed, all the action, basically choreographed it. And that was the funnest time. This I just did very recently. Oh my God, I had the best time. I always wanted to do a Western, and here I got to do a Western. So many things, and it was so fun, because you know what, matter of fact, one gun sequence we had where this guy's going to mow through, like, I don't know, maybe a dozen people. And that's where I brought my martial arts in. I made it like first I started with a kata that I made up, with movement, a kata. And then I put a gun in there, and then I modified it. So that's basically, when you see the film, it's basically a kata that I turned into a gunfight. It was so fun, so fun.
I see Alex in there, right?
Yes, yes.
And how did it come off? Because he has a real heavy accent.
Yeah, well, basically, it's a historical film. There was a real Russian character in the 1800s who came from Russia in America. So he played
Really?
that character. So he was like,
Wow.
we made him like the Terminator of the Old West.
I bet he enjoyed it playing a cowboy, huh?
God, he was like a kid in a candy store. And like I told you, I everything I do, I go back to you and Steve Eric Lee and all my mentors in martial arts because I cross-trained with many martial artists like Samuel Kwok and Samuel Kwok and Wing Chun, all kinds of stuff. But that's my foundation to everything I do begins and ends with the martial arts.
That's your first Western, right?
Yes, yes.
Did it come out yet, or?
No, we just wrapped up about 3 weeks ago.
So when do you expect the release?
I'm hoping later this year or early next year. My God, I had the funnest time, more fun than I've had the last 15 years. Well, that's what I'm saying about life is that you would think after somebody reaches a certain point that, okay, you're here. All of a sudden, I go to Russia, then the Camacho experiment, and then now doing a Western. So each time life is giving me brilliant new experiences, and I just can't, I'm so blessed and so lucky,
Have you worked on any kind of science fiction yet?
Not yet, I want to. That's next on my list. Working with you and a science fiction film is on my bucket list.
Great. Yeah, because we got a lot of good ideas on that. We might be pitching you and see where we go on that. So, if life experience, through everything that you've ever been through, you have a guy that's coming up into the martial arts, just interested in it, but is going through a lot of ups and downs. What kind of inspiration would you give this person to motivate him to go after the dream, any dream that he has?
First off, slap him in the face. How bad do you want to live a good life? Because what I did, I at one time, sounds kind of crazy, I sat down when I was very young. I was so screwed up. I told you, the first two girls that I fell in love with, I wanted so bad, tell me to go screw myself. Not in so many words, but everything I did, I got so much rejection. And one day I started reading books on psychology. I mean, literally as a kid, even as a kid, I was so, and what I did, I read this one thing that this one author asked. He goes, this is who you are, and this is who people perceive you to be, and here's who you want to be. So when I posed those questions to me, I literally got a piece of paper and I wrote down who Art Camacho, who I would, you know what, if I could dream of being anybody, who would I be? So I said, Art Camacho, okay, he's this, he's that. He's literally who I became. So I created what I am inside because I had a definite vision. You have to have specificity in your vision. You can't just say, I want to be a great guy. I want to be successful. You got to be, okay, Art Camacho, he's very confident, great martial, well, not that I'm a great martial artist, good martial artist, a good director. Those are, basically what you see is what I created when I was 15, 16, and I had that image in my head of who I wanted to be. I wasn't there, but I really strived, that was my goal. And that's what I would tell them. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? You could be anything, and you can see, generally, with exceptions. In life, I've learned you can be whoever you want to be.
And you wrote it.
That's the message of the book. That's the message of my life. Is I am proof that you can be whoever you want to be. I'm a fat little piece of shit kid from the barrio, and here I am making movies, traveling around the world, magazines, blah blah blah. It's fun, and I'm living a dream. And this is a dream, Sequel. Still to this day, I think, holy crap, I cannot believe what I'm doing.
So what you did was actually you already prophesized and then fulfilled that prophecy, and it's still going on.
Yes, and
Absolutely.
Beyond anything I expected. To be honest with you, if somebody would have told me you're going to be directing a Russian language film in Russia, you're going to do your own talk show. Are you nuts?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult when you're doing it in Russian and then go with period film. That's a double whammy. Doing it in Russian in modern days, it's pretty challenging, but doing it in period film, wow, that's epic. That's totally epic, man. I really wish the best for everything in that film, and I can't wait to see it. Well, Art, there's so many things that we can do, and I'm sure that along the way, we're going to come up with part 2 on Art Camacho, probably with a little bit more gray and the hair a little bit more.
I still fuck the grays.
Right, and it has been an enjoyable time just interviewing and talking to you. And the things that you've done, what can I say? I mean, it's just like inspirational, and I just encourage people that if they can, where can they pick your book up anyway?
Right now it's on Amazon. They could contact me through Facebook. I sell them and then I autograph them. But they can also get them on Amazon direct. Real quick story. Years ago, as a kid, I remember watching this movie called Jesus Christ Superstar. Incredible
Right.
movie. I don't know if you remember that. It was a great movie. Then it became a musical, or a musical was before anyway. So the actor Ted Neely, who did the movie, he started doing the musical around the world, and I had the honor of seeing him several times in the music because I love the movie, and one day I met him. I met him afterwards because he does that. Sometimes he'll meet with people afterwards. So I met him. I mean, we had this amazing talk. And two things that stuck out to me. I asked him about the scene in Jesus' life in the Garden of Gethsemane when Jesus is having his doubts. And I asked him what his inspiration was for that. And he told me, he says, Art, you know what? When I perform that scene, it's not a man talking to God. It's a son talking to his father, asking him, why, Father? Why am I going through all this hurt and this pain if you love me? And wow, I almost cried, Siva, when he was explaining that to me. And we talked about many other things. And then at the very end, he signed my booklet. And he says, Art, great knowing you, and blah, blah, blah. And he wrote something that I stole from him now to this day. And I want to leave this interview with that. He says, Art, keep living the dream. And that's what I sign now on every book, every picture, everything I sign off, every time on social media. Keep living the dream, or live the dream, because we can see for a while. Too many of us don't think. I wouldn't have thought, as this fat little kid from the barrio, that I'd ever be in movies, that I'd ever be directing, that I'd ever be acting. I mean, doing what I'm doing. But God and myself, and again, all the people around me, like yourself, and Sifu Arakui, and Sifu Sami Kwak, all these people who mentored me, led me to this. Without you, without Sifu Arakui, I am not Art Camacho. Basically, I don't fulfill my dreams. So I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for living the dream.
That's incredible. Let me just add on that. When you say keep living your dream, that's a fantastic. I always tell people, keep living your dreams, but wake up and make it reality.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it. Art, thank you very much. It's been a very good time. We spent a great time together just talking about this and that. And I know that we could go into a whole lot of bunch of things, but I'm going to save that for the next time. All right, I want you to, I'll give you a good clap for being with us. Yeah? And the next time we're going to be seeing you. So, okay, Art, have a great day. Enjoy yourself. And remember this, Hawaii is still open. You can come visit anytime.
I'm gonna go.
And we can hang out and sit on the beach and watch all the coconut trees, okay? All right, you take care of yourself. Love you, guy. Aloha, mahalo. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Art. And again, thank you very much, everybody, for watching this Beyond Kicking and Punching with Sifu Aldecascos and Art Camacho. For me, myself, I've learned so much from this interview. It was so inspiring. The biggest take I actually got from this interview was that, Art didn't just wait for opportunities to come. He actually saw it and he took it without even knowing what he was going to do and how to do it. He just said, I'm going to do it anyway and figure it out later. And see, most people, all they do is they make excuses. They listen to that negativity in their head going, I don't know how to do that. What am I going to do that? But instead, you should learn from his experience and his saying right there, just do it anyway, okay? Face the fear and do it anyway. So again, thank you very much, guys. If you love this or if you've learned something from it, like it, love it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to Sifu Al's podcast, Beyond Kicking and Punching. Aloha, take care. Thank you again, Art. Thank you, Sifu Al. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
God bless.